Good evening and welcome to game number 1 between DK and Absolute Legends, the International 2 group stage, and I'm here with TriumphOfMan. Hi, I'm Sheever.
Hello everybody, I am so amped for this. DK versus my favorite team, Absolute Legends.
I have to say, I got a pennant for DK, so we'll have the balance that way. You know, you'll be for Absolute Legends, I'll be for DK. Just to have a bit of a caster balance going on.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I know I'm going to get called out on being biased for AL this match, but oh, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. You know, if there's gonna be big plays for Absolute Legends, I will definitely support those, of course, too. It's not like you can't be excited for them anymore at all, right?
Indeed, indeed. I see Kuturo on my channel is asking, what does DK stand for? I don't know if you know, Sheever, because I don't have a clue at all.
They're actually known as DK Esports, but it comes from Dota Kings.
Oh, okay, fair enough then.
But it's, you know, it's DK because they don't want to be known as Dota Kings, they want to be known as DK. But it originally originated from Dota Kings. But yeah, that's where it comes from. I was once wondering that as well, and I just I looked it up and I googled it and I looked everywhere where I could, and it was Dota Kings, apparently so. And DK, first ban for them is actually Lycan. They are the first picking team, so they don't want to play that themselves either. Quite surprising. Normally you see Lycan being banned out by the team that has the second pick because they don't want to be up against a Lycan, but that's a bit different this time.
Honestly, I've rarely seen DK try and work a Lycan into their strats, and AL will if you give it to them. So I can see them getting rid of it. And now we're going to see. I think we're going to see some of the hard carries getting banned out here. Anti-mage, Morphling, AL are going to go. You know what, Burning? You're not getting your hands anywhere near those. You're going to keep them way. I've got to say the best farm I've ever seen by 10 minutes was Burning 78 CS. Just the last hits, not the deny. 78 CS out of a possible 82 at 10 minutes in. That is so insane. Missing 4 creep.
Yeah, we might see Anti-Mage indeed banned now because of that too. It is just, if you give Burning something to farm with, he will farm. Oh. And Absolute Legends is not going to let that happen, of course. That will leave some space for some heroes in the pool that we normally see banned out. Maybe a Darkseer going through, maybe even a Naga Siren, even though, of course, I'm kind of expecting at least those two being banned out. But, yeah, give some space for that. DK actually taking their time, going into their bonus time for banning out the second ban. It is a Rubik, a hero that we've seen dominating a lot of the times in these lane-ups, even though just now he lost a match, which we didn't see that often happening, so at least we see Rubik lose sometimes too. And we have a banner for Naga Siren from Absolute Legends, a hero that you don't want to face, and that would definitely be picked up by DK if it would be left in the pool. Same thing goes for Darkseer, I think, though, if they leave that in.
This is definitely true. Also, I'm really happy that, well, as I said, we did see Rubik lose a game last match. I'm not going to blame the Rubik because, honestly, he got 3 Ravage steals. That is huge. Yeah. And he got him off, got a good Ravage off each time, so I'm not going to blame the Rubik. I just feel it just came down to the fact that they just couldn't contain that Morphling in the end. Anti-Mage tried his best, but it just came down to the fact that Tong were a little bit more solid, and their early game just allowed them to snowball a lot stronger than DK could. Even though Anti-Mage got fat, really it was very few people on eHome's team actually managed to get up there and match him and actually help him out. So it was pretty much Anti-Mage versus the world, and it just wasn't quite enough when there was a super farm Morphling trying to take him down. But it's the next ban for DK. What are they going to go with? There are definitely some strong heroes. I thought we could even see something like, I mean, AL, they have been really wrecking face with Storm Spirit. We might even see some respect bans get popped out by DK, because a hero like Storm is one that you can pop out early. Or they're just going to get rid of Furion. Furion as well, a really strong push. And it looks like DK, they got rid of a couple of good pushes there, and of course, I've got to say, Rubik probably one of the best supports at the moment. Yeah,
that's definitely true. And Darkseer, the one to get banned out, and it was an instant ban out. They knew exactly what they wanted to go for. And DK, they've seemingly been having some trouble. I mean, they only have 30 seconds left, 36 seconds left in their bonus time. And with Absolute Legends banning that Darkseer out so fast, they're not giving DK any time to think about their draft right here. And only 5 seconds left into their numbers time. DK struggling, and it's gonna be a lone druid first pick up for them.
Oh, I've seen some of these lone draw. Oh, the Chinese with their lone draws can be very, very dangerous. I would like to see. In fact, one of the most fun lone draws I've seen is a lone draw combined with an invoker and getting the alacrity on the bear. He can just wreck towers so fast and tear them down before anybody can react. And just the remote pushing value is so, so good. So I would be very worried if DK can pop out a lone druid and invoker combo. But now the double pick for AL, it looks, and especially with the lone druid, I think they don't need to worry about those late game right click heroes, so they don't really need to worry too much about the AM here, just because the lone druid, I really don't see them trying to add an AM to late lineup. It would really be asking for trouble, unless AL already committed to a kind of a late game lineup of their own. So I think AL can rest easy. They don't need to worry about burning, getting his anti-mage. They can just go and pick their early game stuff, maybe get that Chen. Chen is still on the board, all the Enchantress, Godot of course, go-to jungle. There we go. Chen picked up, and they get the Brood as well, Sheever.
As some pushing power for Absolute Legends and Broodmother and Chen. I mean, separately they're already strong powers for pushing, but together that's gonna be towers going down fairly fast. Or you might have a Chen gank on another lane. Wow, coming out of my words here is very easy. But on another lane where Broodmother is not getting the attention elsewhere, so that Broodmother is gonna be able to be pushing down a tower by himself. Of course, DK is gonna try to have Tidehunter or Sand King or something like that to match up with the Broodmother. They still have every chance, every option of counters for that Broodmother to pick up. But it's not gonna be easy for Absolute Legends. For DK. They're gonna go for Sand King, and Invoker gets picked up here as well. So solo lane's complete. Sand King, in theory, they don't need anything else. Lone Druid can solo, Sand King can solo, Invoker can solo.
Yeah, in this case, Sand King more than likely to be a solo hero, just because Sand King's such a great counter pick to that Broodmother. Can just see it. Caustic Finale, so good for countering the mass spiraling pushes. And it will be an Invoker and a Lone Druid combo. This is definitely going to be very dangerous, but we get a Storm Spirit as well. Wow. Sheever, how have we not seen some awesome bleak action on this Storm Spirit?
Yes, we have. He played that so well. And just been able to be all over the map. And right now, I mean, you want Broodmother to be farming safely, but if you want to shut down the Broodmother, you're gonna have to deal with a Storm Spirit elsewhere that's gonna get free from you. You have to choose between one of these two. Which one are you gonna try to shut down? You can't do it both. You need more than one hero. Maybe not until level 6 for the Storm Spirit, but still.
In this case, I actually feel that DK do have the lineup. If they can send a kill lane against the Storm Spirit, I think they do have the potential to do it. Because Sand King, as long as they can match the Sand King against the Broodmother, and there's no shenanigans with the lanes getting switched around and stuff, as long as Sand King finds Broodmother, Sand King will at the very least hold Broodmother. The main thing that Broodmother, you don't so much try to shut her down, you just try to keep her off your tower and stop her from just pressuring all of those safe lane towers. And Sand King's a hero for it. He's a hero you need. He's got that firepower in the Caustic Finale, and they can just go Storm Spirit. You don't like getting hit by silences, by stuns, mass dukes, early game, a kill lane against him, because until he hits level 6, he's really, really squishy, really vulnerable, short range, can't CS all that effectively. So I feel like it is definitely possible for DK to take all of, to have their cake and eat it essentially against the Broodmother and the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and we have
they ban anti-mage as well.
Yeah, they don't want to have. They don't want to risk burning anti-mage still. It's just that small possibility that burning might still get that one, and a ban out for DK for the Tidehunter as well as for the Tinker, because that would be more pushing power on Absolute Legends that you don't want to have, that you don't want to deal with. Last ban out coming in from Absolute Legends right now. A support, perhaps. I mean, what else could you... Yeah, something like maybe a Windrunner. I mean, I've seen a Lone Druid being played with a Windrunner support and an Earthshaker support as well. That's just a very difficult try to deal with. One thing that we have to notice, of course, there's going to be a jungle hero for Chen. For Absolute Legends, rather, in the form of a Chen. And we talked about the previous game, what a disadvantage you're at if you don't have a jungle hero for yourself. And since Enchantress is still in the pool, we might see that one being picked up.
It's definitely possible, although I feel it might sort of weaken them a bit. It's give and take. In the situation that we had last match, because if you take a jungle hero, although you do utilize, you tap more money, tap more experience, you just tap more forms of areas to farm, the downside is the fact that you weaken your lanes. But against a tri-lane, not such a huge issue, because they were presenting a relatively strong lane against a tri-lane anyway, and it wasn't a big deal, so they were just farming faster, there was no real aggression. And in this case, I don't know. AL, they do have the opportunity to get really aggressive here, so it may not work out. But the Chinese, DK have picked up the Shadow Shaman. Now, I think this is going to be one of their hard supports because it's one of the things the Chinese would do. Like, we'd see the European teams that go, Shadow Shaman was a solo hero. He was like a hero that you would farm up as a semi-carry. We'd get a lot of farm, just take that solo mid, take the solo side lane, and the Chinese just go, you know what? They were like Snoopy. Snoopy was one of the few sort of Western teams, and I use that in finger quotes, who actually run hard support Shadow Shamans, and it works really well. Just go for the naked build and just rush that Blink Dagger. If you just get enough cash through pushing towers, but it's really effective. But they are grabbing the Vengeful Spirit as well there.
Yeah, solid stun for them, and of course, giving Storm Spirit, for example, some time to ball lightning in if Vengeful Spirit is the one to initiate. I haven't seen a Vengeful Spirit yet in the qualifiers, in the group stages for this international too. But I do agree with the pick. It's a solid support. I like watching Vengeful Spirit play, especially if he's played also slightly aggressive, and something that comes off from all Southeast Asian teams as well as Absolute Legends. I'm kind of counting those in the same category. Is that they get just a lot more farm up on their supports normally, and it's gonna be a Windrunner support with the Lone Druid, I guess, with a Shadow Shaman there as well. I was kind of
in this case, I think it might be.
But,
It could have been possible. In this case, I think you might be a little disappointed just because Snoopy, Godot will be playing the Chen. I'm 100% it'll be Godot and Chen, and that leaves Snoopy as the Vengeful Spirit. And Snoopy he's generally winds up to be very, very poor during the match because he does a lot of the warding. I know during the Gigabyte Dota Masters, a few of the games we casted, we actually had semi-carry Vengeful Spirits running around with stuff like Yashes and actually getting a bit of fun. It was really weird, but haven't seen it since the GDM. Yeah, it definitely works, but I just haven't seen it since. And a night, oh no,
wow.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Just wow. You got Storm Spirit and Night Stalker, two heroes that at level 6, well, Storm Spirit level 6, Night Stalker around minute 6, which should be around level 6 when it's nighttime, are gonna go around killing stuff. And you got a Broodmother to take advantage of that killing to push down lanes with half of the Chen. I like this lineup a lot. I like it a lot.
Okay, I'm a little bit different because it seems like every time I see AL run a Bleak on Night Stalker, it goes, everything just, it's not even that they're playing bad, it's just everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. That was the oh no from me. I am kind of, just it's a bit of superstition. I'm a little worried because of that, but we'll see how they go. We'll definitely see how they do. But I'll call out AL if you want, and then we'll do DK. So Absolute Legends. On the Dire sub, we have AL Godot on the Chen, Snoopy on the Vengeful Spirit, Bleak running the Night Stalker, Shaitan on Broodmother, and Musica playing Storm Spirit Sheever.
Yes, and for DK we have on the Radiant side, Super is going to be playing his Evoker, Burning on the Lone Druid as expected, Zippo on his Shadow Shaman, ROTK is going to be on the Windrunner with Long DD on the Sand King here. Everybody going towards the bottom lane from DK, thinking there's a party, but there's no party there. We got to have Broodmother on the bottom lane, maybe supported by Snoopy here. Do they want to go for a semi-trial in here? It's not very unlikely that they're going to do that. I've seen it before, even though there was an Enchantress rather than a Chen, purely because Enchantress can be a bit more aggressive early on. If they want to go for that early pressure, but Chen might as well be going there as well. Even though right now he's just waiting for probably a deny on the creep, I guess. Maybe, with his Holy Persuasion. And then going back towards the fountain to get his mana back up. It could be. It's a 30-second cooldown, so he could just get that creep deny and still be able to get enough mana and time for his own creep to steal. He steals in a jungle, whichever jungle he's gonna be in.
Definitely. I was a little worried for Shaitan. He saw his Broodmother yesterday. It got shut down hard by an early sort of counter watch, which he didn't have a response to. But this time around, it doesn't look like DK have bothered getting counterwards thrown at him. I don't think they're too worried about shutting down the Broodmother. They're just gonna. Well, actually, no, they do. I lie. Okay, this is gonna suck for him. There are counterwards on the Sand King. He's gonna pick them up. Oh, you know, they're trading, switching around the wards. Shadow Shaman's taking the counterwards down. In fact, maybe they're not going to use them down here. Maybe. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Meanwhile, Snoopy heading towards the top lane. Going to stick down a ward here, possibly. ROTK going to be soloing up here versus Night Stalker. Night Stalker should be all right. He's got that stout. He's got the stout shield. And with a backup from Snoopy, he should be able to handle this. Should be able to handle the Windrunner all right. But unfortunately, in the bottom lane, Shaitan is in some serious trouble. Sheever, he can be seen in those webs, and he's just going to get zapped back to base, I think.
Yeah, that is going to be a very dangerous lane for him to be on. The lucky thing for him is if he can indeed stay alive, he's going to get a lot of levels. So that is good. And at some point it will be just burning left here with the supports rotating more. And if he can just hold on until that point, he will be okay. But right now it is looking indeed pretty grim for him. If he is getting caught out, he will die so fast. There's a burst strike, there's a shackle if Zippo gets level 2. And that's gonna be a lot of damage coming through, and a lot of time for Lone Druid with his bear to just attack on that Broodmother as well. Broodmother who got a stout shield though, so is a bit more tanky than she would normally be, but still, is it gonna be enough? I doubt it.
Oh, definitely, if they start wailing on her, she is definitely toast. I like and Bleak is actually, they actually didn't dive up top. Amazing. I thought Bleak was about to dive under the tower for a second. I was like, no, Bleak, not again, not again. But he actually held off, calmed down a little bit. I remember the first AL game today, Bleak, such a man mode, in total man mode, complete screaming into 5 set. It was just so dangerous. But in the mid lanes, check out how things are going. Music are currently 8-3 versus Super, who is sitting on 4-1, so he's actually doing a little bit better. The Courier almost getting in trouble there. Super not quite able to close the gap. Of course, he's quite slow, 280 base move speed for poor old Invoker. But it looks like he is going for, well, actually, it's a little hard to tell. We don't know if it's Quas and Exhort or Quas and Wex yet.
I would guess it is Quas Wex, purely to have some more momentum on his lane, and otherwise he would have already gotten his Exhort at least one to get those right clicks a bit easier for him. But he opted to go for another Quas, so I'm expecting Quas Wex from him right here. And burning, free farming 15 for 9. And Broodmother, well, he gets some levels a bit. He doesn't have a single last hit just yet though, and I don't blame him for it. He doesn't want to try, he doesn't want to give away that he's still there, that he's still sitting there waiting, trying to get some experience on the lane. Bear gets resummoned there. He wanted to maybe try to go for a last hit on the bear, but no, he got resummoned. And yeah, he's just I don't know, he's a bit sad Spider there.
Well, if he can get that last hit, it's worth a lot of money. It's like 100 gold. Really, really good to get your hands on that. I'm just looking at long D. They're just going to do a little bit double pulling. This is really going to be awkward for him. He just cannot get anything out of this at the moment. And there's still a second area. I think they might just wait for a few levels on Zippo. And, of course, the Sanking as well. Just so they get a couple of, so they have a better chance of locking down that Broodmother before they commit that second counter or to try and get a gank off. The question is, how is Godot going to do? Because this is one of the downsides presenting a weak lane to basically what's sort of essentially a tri lane that AL have up in this top lane, is the fact that around about the 4-minute mark, 5-minute mark, Godot can pop out of the jungle, go for a quick gank on ROTK, which 3v1, it's not too hard to pin down the Windrunner and get rid of her, and then go for a quick push on that tower and bring it down quite at a rapid rate. And it looks like they may even pick off ROTK right now if they can get the stun off. There's the stun. The Centaur might not get him ranged though. The silence is a little bit too late, and Windrunner will escape. Unfortunately, Chen just moments too slow there. And
that was, of course, I mean, Chen actually smoked up for that one, but it was ROTK that moved towards him, having the smoke popped off prematurely, making sure that ROTK is still alive on the top lane. And that's the danger of having a Vengeful Spirit stun set up with a solid stun afterwards from the Centaur. I mean, there's nothing that ROTK can do against that, but it was a bit too early. It was a bit too early. But yeah, no other choice for the Vengeful Spirit to wait any longer, otherwise there wouldn't have been a stun at all. And the second sentry ward being used on the bottom lane right now, with Shaitan probably knowing about that. I mean, he's got his eye on the time. He knows that there's only 2 minutes that those wards are off for, and he is a bit more calm, because I think he's checked the inventory of Zippo, knowing that he doesn't have any more wards. Long DD, no wards on him either. Are they gonna be new wards? No, it's just gonna be threads and boots and more boots for burning right now.
I think he's a lot calmer just because he seems to have moved his webs around a little bit, so I think he knows he's getting around the counter ward now, so he feels a lot safer at the moment. That said, someone who'd be really nervous would definitely be ROTK. He has no idea what's going on in the jungle. He knows there is a very, very annoying... Is that a... Oh wait, no, that wasn't one of the belonging channels. I was about to say, is that a Centaur? Oh, sorry, a Satyr that they're using just to burn mana off him. And wow, look at this. DK actually managing to triple pull their creep waves. They pulled it from the medium camp to the medium camp to the hard camp now, and Shaitan is getting absolute... Now, I really feel bad when I have to see Shaitan take this hard lanes, because he really gets punished so hard every single time. It must really suck.
Yeah, and this way also, I mean, you're thinking about dual lane, tri lane versus a single hero, that's gonna be nice, but Shadow Shaman actually level 4, Sand King level 4 as well, so they're not doing bad at all. Not doing bad at all. It's actually Vengeful Spirit on the top lane for Absolute Legend that's still level 3. And I'm not sure if we can count Chen, but Chen is of course getting his own creeps. Oh wow, this is gonna be the first blood, and this time it's gonna be Chen who came in from the other side. Net was there, stun was there, and that was a very clean kill for Absolute Legends, with Chen picking up the gold for that one.
Yeah, definitely a good start there for AL, but unfortunately, down this bottom lane, like you said, it's just really, really hard for Shaitan. And the fact is, like you said, that they're getting their levels. DK are getting their levels because they are essentially jungle. They're pulling so many camps.
Yeah.
They're pulling so many of these neutral camps that they're basically double jungling almost just with the pulls. And they're getting all their experience from that and just not leeching too much from burning at all, which is really helping them get ahead. But at the same time, they're doing a similar thing. But this is what I was talking about for AL, just getting that quick gank. It was a little bit later than I thought because their initial attempt failed, but they get it off in the end. They get that gank happening, and now they're going to go for this tower down. Unfortunately, though, this has bought more time for Invoker to get his levels up, and now he's coming to help defend the top lane Sheever.
Yeah, and the Vengeful Spirit, by the way, Snoopy positioning himself very aggressively. I'm not sure what he is hoping to go for. If they actually want to dive this, they might. He's gonna run into Super though, and he doesn't know it. Hi, there they are, and here comes Musica as well. Super, wow, Vortex, and that is gonna be a kill for Storm Spirit. Musica picking that one up. Poor Invoker, he had no idea what he was walking into. No vision up here for the Radiant side. Snoopy, he's not done yet. He's almost got enough mana for another stun. He knows it's nighttime. He knows the RTK can't see him right now. It's gonna be 3 versus 1. There's a Void. Here comes Snoopy. Maybe not a stun, but just a mana. Armor, minus armor. It's Chen once again picking up another kill on the Windrunner. 3 for 0. Absolute Legends. They're owning the top lane with the kill on the Invoker. Musica is now also having the advantage on the mid lane, and it's only the bottom lane where Shaitan is just not doing anything. But if you look at it, he is keeping 3 heroes busy, making sure that his team can indeed get the advantage on the other 2 lanes, so definitely not doing bad considering he's not died yet. He's even got a soul ring up, so it's definitely not doing bad at all for the situation that he is in.
Definitely. I think AL are okay with this because they're essentially, right now, they're sort of winning 2 lanes. Of course, Super is getting a pretty decent amount of farm in there. He's got 30 and 12. Actually, no, that's not that fantastic. But then in Storm Spirit, he's ahead of Storm Spirit, of course. Musica getting a kill. But at the same time, they're doing well. They're doing well in the mid lane. They're doing well in the top lane. So I think they're happy to sacrifice this bottom lane in the end, and they're okay with Lone Druid getting that farm, but it's going to come down to that remote push. I think could be problematic. Once they start having that alacrity up on the bear, it could be really, really problematic. If they can force AL to come away from the tower to defend, this could be quite problematic. But I think maybe AL are hoping their mobility is going to help them out in these fights, because of course they've got the swaps, they've got the speed from the Night Stalker, and of course the Storm Spirit can just jump and take people out as well.
Yeah, and Absolute Legends, I mean, 3 kills, they're doing good, and like you said, Musica, I mean, slightly behind on last hit compared to Super, but he has that kill, so he's doing fine. Item-wise, he's got 900 gold. Wondering if he's gonna go for a Bloodstone in the end, or if he's gonna go a different build. What kind of build are you used to have on Musica as Storm Spirit, by the way? Because we saw Bleak Storm Spirit earlier today. But of course, a different player, different build. What do you reckon?
It's kind of hard to... Just thinking it really depends what he's first on. I mean, I think he's probably going to go for the Bloods. I don't think he can really afford to go straight for an Orchid, which we saw on day 1. I don't think he can afford to do that this match, just because there's a lot of lockdown on the other team. Like, he's got stuff like Cold Snap, he's got stuff like stuns, the hexes. It's just a bit too much. He does need to bulk up a little bit, I think, in this case. So I'm expecting him to go for the Bloodstone first. In fact, let's look what he's bought Arcane Boots, which that's not a fantastic indicator. It could go either way.
We'll see. Something gonna happen on the bottom lane. We see Shaitan being a bit more cocky, and there's gonna be support as well. Smoke up on Bleak. There's gonna be a Godot as well with creeps, and they want this tower, they want this burning. Are they gonna be able to get it? There's a net clearing out the creep wave, revealing Zippo without any mana, TPing incoming from the Windrunner, looking for something, but it looks like Absolute Legends being forced back, on the retreat. Not really forced back, it's just the risk of something happening. They were no longer at the advantage, and they knew that, so they are on their way out. Forced out some TPs though, which is always nice to do. Some extra gold being spent on the side of DK. Tower still stands. And Shaitan, he is
This could be problematic though.
Sorry, wow. My bad.
Well, I was worried there for a second because the Invoker was there. He got the Cold Snap off, but in the end, it didn't matter too much because... As it turns out, Bleak was able to tank damage. This is really nice. I'm seeing Bleak play the Night Stalker, and he hasn't died like a million times at the 10-minute mark. This is actually feeling pretty good right now. So he's actually doing decent for his first night. They got the early tower. He's up 1-0 and 2. Obviously, it's not a crazy Night Stalker, but when AL play the Night Stalker, they're not looking for a huge first night. They're generally looking just for a really, really strong mid game. You might equate it almost to sort of a like, and not really playing for that super first, like the 6-minute first night. They're looking for that mid game, where Night Stalker is still a really good powerhouse hero.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be biased for Absolute Legends, but saying like Bleak hasn't died yet in a surprised voice is not really a bias in favor of Absolute Legends.
True. I mean, you know how crazy Bleak is. It's just like you see him, just like, you know what, 5 heroes a tower, I'll fight that. Let me at him. He's like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, in the meantime,
absolutely like Scrappy Doo. But right now, AL pushing mid.
Yeah, and pushing bottom as well. So, oh, and here comes Absolute Legends, Snoopy, Bleak, gonna go towards that middle lane. DK has a choice. You want to defend the bottom lane or you want to defend mid lane? It's going to be bottom lane. Shaitan, Burrow Strike, Shackle, and that Hand of God going through. Shaitan still alive with Ether Shock, finishing it off with help of Burning, taking the last hit. They were not, well, they are not able to defend the mid lane now though, DK is. It looks like Absolute Legends will at least get that tower. So they lose their Shaitan, but get a tower in return. A good trade though. I mean, there was a trade to be had, and this is as good as any. And that was only the first kill of DK in the entire game so far.
I think this is a fine trade. I agree, definitely. It's mostly because the map controller gives. Now that they've got that mid tower down, when it comes to the next night, it is really going to help out. It's going to give Bleak so much more room to move, and it's really going to make DK be very, very cautious, very scared. But the question is, how fast is Lone Druid farming at the moment? He's already got enough for a relic. This is kind of bad news. They do need to slow him down a bit because the push power from DK, come about the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark, is going to be very scary. Although that said, Godot is going to have a mech up very shortly. If they can get that mech up done and dusted, it is really going to help AL just hold their ground, and just because they really need to be able to stay and fight when DK pushing, because DK are just going to continually pressure the tower. They're not going to go in for one big sweep. They're not going to go in for one big team fight. They're just going to continually chip away the tower, and AL need to be able to sustain themselves and stand there and meet them every time that DK go for that.
Yeah, and
it looks like DK are going to trade as well for the mid tower.
Yeah, they left the bottom tower alone entirely, knowing that they couldn't take that fight there. They weren't at the advantage, and they're going to try to trade it, and they will be able to do so. I mean, the wards from Zippo helping out. He is level 6, and that is at least the best they could hope for. Definitely, and they will be roaming around again. Burning will probably look for a different place to farm because bottom lane doesn't look so safe anymore, where Absolute Legends is actually continuing to push, making it possible for DK to maybe also try that. Bear helping out, Long UD here as well. They might be, they won't be able to kill off the tower, but they will be able to do quite a bit of chunk of damage. Tier 2 tower on the bottom lane will drop, however, and DK still not able to defend it. And only now does Absolute Legends back off, so a large amount of gold from the bottom lane. Vortex on the Bear. Poor Bear will be summoned back, or will be re-summoned, I should say, respawned by Burning. And on his way back, Burning, who's 85 for 28. He is topping the last hit charges massively. Of course, maybe some spiralings in there as well.
Yeah, of course, that does make it a little hard to tell. It does really inflate his score. As a matter of fact, let's just check the GPM. 423 GPM though, 14 minutes in. That is a pretty telling sign.
That is very
That is definitely very dangerous. In fact, he almost has a radius. He's gone almost for a naked radius. He did actually get the Boots of Tranquility first, but he has a relic done, and he also is camping on 1100 gold. In fact, he's like 100 gold shy, and he'll have that radiance up and running, and this is going to be a bit of an issue. If they can get a push, if they get stuck in those pushes happening in the next 5 minutes or so, it's going to become quite problematic for AL. Although it looks like AL decide they might go for a Roshan. They are going to smoke up, and there are no wards. Didn't even need to do that. There are no wards down. It's going to come down to, do DK suspect an early Roshan attempt? I mean, it's definitely possible. They've got a ton of spiderlings, and of course they've got Chen. Chen makes Roshan attempts really, really easy.
Yeah, in the meantime, the person that's not there for Absolute Legends is Shaitan, who's sitting in the jungle. Oh! It's respawning around him. He has to go back out there before he's got locked in place. Nice. But yeah, he's just gonna wait until everybody's left his lane. Oh, middle lane in the meantime. There goes Invoker. Walked a bit too close to the Roshan pit for Absolute Legends likings, and they're just gonna continue going for that Roshan. Now that Invoker's that, they can't really do anything against that. Not that they had a good chance before, but now definitely no chance. Aegis picked up by the Storm Spirit, Musica having that, and looks like he is gonna go for a point booster first, so Bloodstone perhaps on the way for Musica as a first item.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Super making a bit of a misplay. They're not really thinking about what would happen if he went to the Roshan pit alone, which was pretty much Musica just going, you know what? I'm actually just going to headbutt your whirlwind and then take you out, just pin you to the ground. I think he was really expecting that the range that he was firing the whirlwind from to keep him safe, but as it was, the mana that Storm Spirit has at the moment is just way too much. Like, he has got a pretty decent mana pool. It's up to 1k, and he's going to find himself, and Haste Rune as well could try and set up a kill here on the Lone Druid, although maybe not. He's very tanky inside. They'll just settle for Zippo. Zippo is very dead.
He's very dead. Tornado is going to try to slow him down. They might be trying to get the Vengeful Spirit at least. Musica, no more mana left though. Stick Charge is helping out. Bottle Charge is helping out, but he can't do that much. Is there going to be an entangle? Hand of God, Swap going through. And who is going to be dying? Shackle does let Musica goes down. Age is being popped though. Snoopy's still alive. No more mana left, but Bleak is here. He wants to go for Super. He's on his way. We have got Burning up on the high ground. Not a very good place for him to be in. I think he is not going to be staying alive very much longer. He'll be killed off. Vengeful Spirit also killed off by a Lone Druid still though. At least he gets something in return. Godot, Cold Snap, one more hit away. There goes Invoker picking up the kill. Tornado, getting Bleak, getting Musica. And they go for Long DD. Long DD will probably drop you. No more mana left on the Storm Spirit though. Ball Lightning is not doing enough. Burst Strike away. Long DD will be able to stay alive. No. Earn Charge kills him off. And that is a trade 2 for 2 in total. With of course the Aegis being picked off by Absolute Legends as well. And I have to say that is a good fight for DK purely because even though they lost Burning, he already had his Radiance, so not that much gold lost. But they took down heroes too, both the Chen and the Vengeful Spirit, who were level 9. So getting that extra experience up on, for example, the Sand King, who was only level 7, who was there for the fight, a very good trade for them. Even though the heroes on itself were that important.
Experience-wise, look at that drop though. AL just hammering the experience. They're up to 4k advantage now. So they really, I honestly feel like that fight really kind of gave AL a huge. Sure, they lost the Aegis, but honestly, I don't think Music was going to do a whole lot with it. I'm just trying to figure out how the hell Burning got up there on that cliff, and I think it might have been Invoker's 4 stuff. That's my only explanation. Otherwise, you know, what is the bear doing up there? He's drunk. Yeah. I don't know. Just charged up there. Somehow got up on the high ground, which is, you know, there's no way to walk up there. So I think it must have been the 4-star from Invoker. That's my best explanation. Maybe a missed click.
I'm kind of expecting to see the experience graph still going up slightly, but it doesn't look like it is. Contrary to what I just said then, at least Absolute Legends, yeah. Good kill, good fight for them then. Yeah. Burning the one to die. I mean, he has his Radiance right now. I mean, he had it at 16.5 minutes, I believe. So a super fast Radiance actually on that Lone Druid. And he'll be joining into teamfight more than he was before, and it might be that DK is wanting to go for that now. They've got wards from the Shadow Shaman. Looks like they might want to go for the tier 2 tower here with 3 heroes of Absolute Legends defending. And it's daytime. Their darkness is on cooldown. And we have all 5 heroes of Absolute Legends about to be on this bottom lane. The only one not there yet is Musica, but he might be able to be there very fast. They are going to give the tower away though. Fortification only delaying it, but Sand King picking up the last hit.
Yeah, I really feel like that was the right choice. There was no reason for them to dive in there. Musica wasn't in position. He was all the way back in the base. And it's not, like you said, it's daytime. They don't have darkness available, so it's really a losing battle there. They've got an early Radiance on a bear, and there's Serpent wards down. Might as well just let it go. It's really just not worth it to try and hold that tier 2 town, because just try as hard as they might, at some point, like in the next 5 minutes or so, DK are probably going to take that tower pretty soon, because they do have a lot of pushing power at the moment on their team between the Shadow Shaman and of course the Lone Druid, and they are going for a fairly push-oriented lineup as well, especially with the Invoker backing him up. I'm just waiting to see those Alacrities. Yeah. Alacrities on the bear are going to demolish towers.
Imagine an Assault Cuirass on that bear as well. That's just gonna be so deadly for the towers mostly though. It's gonna be towers dropping like crazy. DK actually going towards the tier 1 tower on the top lane. Not only the Lone Druid there, but also 4 other, everybody going towards the top lane. And Bleak has to back out. Getting caught by the tornado though. Cold Snap there as well. Getting burned some mana. Will there be a shackle? Yes, there will be. Not even needed yet. I'm not sure why there wasn't a shackle. Now there is a shackle. Gets him as well. And there goes Bleak. Invoker picking up the last hit. Absolute Legends on the way out. Bear is just gonna stand there with his Radiance, but it will be summoned back here and will be taken down the tier 1 tower. Last tier 1 tower still standing in the game, and it drops.
I feel like that swap, the best of intentions from Snoopy actually ended up killing Night Stalker because it moved him into the path of trees, and the Shackle, which would have been a 0.5 second stun, ended up pinning him down quite badly. So in the end there, Night Stalker actually going for an Arcanum Scepter by the look of things. He has picked up the point booster as well as an Ogre Club, although he could be a fast BKB for all I know. But either way, either item is actually going to be of a lot of benefit, especially when they're up against something like that Sand King there. Of course, it will help him avoid that huge burn from the Radiance. Windrunner, though, just throwing a shackle at the Wildkin just to keep the tornado off them. And this is kind of, that was a huge window of opportunity for DK because it was nighttime, it was daytime obviously, but now it's switching over to night, and now it's AL's turn. Now it's their turn to get aggressive because they've got the Night Stalker. It's his mid-game now. He's still a very, very powerful hero, and he can really help pick apart DK. So it's going to come down to DK defending out here. Bleak diving on top of someone. He was going after after Sand King, and they get him with the dust, and they also get a stun in. Burrow strikes out though, but Storm Spirit going to continue chasing, slows him down. The urn will kill him. There's no escape. He's out of charges for the magic wand, so he will go down.
Yeah, we saw Musica. He was just standing there waiting for someone to pass those wards because that's why they have them. And he found the Sand King. Long did he, delaying it as much as he could. Actually, with that delay, making it possible for the rest of his team to be home safely, but he still went down, of course, in the end. Too much damage being done there. Nice shackle here. Letting go to Shaitan. Stun landing on the bear from the side. Bear still being alive, being resummoned here. And Absolute Legends being forced back, not able to kill off the tower. Not yet anyway, shackle.
I feel like that...
It's not over just yet, though. Or is it?
Those EMPs, they will have to back off. I feel like AL, they don't really have a good push-up. They really need... Their best opportunity really is just to pick somebody, like to gank, get a pick-off, and then go for a tower. Because right now, in the team fights, I'm feeling that they just don't have that edge. Especially when Broodmother is still behind. She's still busy working off with that Midas, trying to catch up, get an Orchid, get a BKB, get anything. Even those Mantis styles we see some teams rush. Because right now the team fight presence is very low, especially with Night Stalker. Like, they don't have any good AoE, whereas they're up against a big EMP tornado, burrow strikes, wards, you name it, tons of big power stuns. They just really lack that.
Yeah, and Musica ball lightning in again. Tried to let the Vortex, but he's getting shackled up. Hand of God might help him stay alive, but no, he dies. Invoker picking up the kill. Epicenter being channeled. Bleak on the way out. Will there be another burrow strike? Yes, there will be. Tornado as well, and that is Bleak. He is going to drop. Lone Druid picking up the kill. And Tangle on Snoopy. He will drop as well. Lands a stun and a minus armor. Wave of Terror, but he still drops. There goes the dust. They only find Spiderlings though, because Shaitan is way, way away from there. He picked up a Hand of Midas, by the way, to get that farm up. But yeah, of course Windrunner and Shadow Shaman were still dead in that encounter, but getting Bleak in that encounter is definitely worth losing those two for.
Oh boy, I really feel... Musica just dove in there, really thought like he could set something up. Unfortunately, it was big bait. Sand King immediately threw a stun in, got him ducked back into the trees, and that epicenter was fantastic. I've got to say, AL, they got set up, they got played, and DK really worked that one properly. And this is a bit of an issue. I just don't know how AL are going to control these fights, just because they're really reliant on the Storm Spirit, but unfortunately, he's just not resilient enough to take the focus crown control that DK can throw at him.
Yeah. There's just so much to say.
At the moment, like, he is the heart. Yeah, and at the moment, like, he is the heart and soul of the team. It's all down to him because, like, well, assuming it is daytime, it's pretty much, he's all the only answer they got. And even Night Stalker, he's a lot of single target firepower. He can't really influence the fight that much. He's more about ganking, picking up the lone stragglers.
Yeah, and of course the silence and the mini stun as well, but yeah, like I said, there's just so much to table. I think we should be looking at some BKBs. The decounter for the Shadow Shaman, decounter for Zippo here, because he is just going to be able to have such a big impact on those game. Otherwise, oh, cold snap, Bleak. It is nighttime, so he is super fast, but Tornado will slow him down. There will not be another burst strike, but there is an entangle. Lone Druid getting a shackle. Vengeful Spear dead as well. Two shackles actually, shackle shot and the shackle from the Shadow Shaman, and that is going to be DK looking to push in, and that's going to be the last tower, drop him for sure. Tier 2 tower, mid lane, Absolute Legends side.
It just comes down to DK. They're just deathballing. They know that they've got the advantage. If they stick as 5, stay alive, just charge in there and stay, just bull rush AL. And they go, well, what are you going to do about it? And this is possibly a Rax. Serpent was down. We've got the glyph up to defend, but unfortunately, we still got 10, 15 seconds there on the two heroes from AL. And this is plenty of time for that bear to tear through this town. Might be long enough for them to hold off the Rax, but the Serpent Wards are definitely helping out quite a bit. Godot on standby there. Has Hand of God up if they can get in there quickly enough to stop. But there's a remote push. The bear just working away with the wards. They are trying to hold it off, but the bear does not care. It's just going to keep hitting away until it gets rid of this. They're doing all the damage they can, trying to chain stun the bear, but the bear will get the melee Rex, and it looks like they're going to dive in there. Going to dive in on top of Super though. All stopping up. There is the epicenter. Sand King causing massive carnage, and DK are on the warpath. It looks like they're also going to run down Snoopy. The burn there from the Radiance is going to be too much, and there goes Snoopy as well. Another Barrow Stroke. Where did it go? I can't see it. Doesn't matter though, because burning is just burning away at AL. They're just standing there, chewing on these towers. Music are diving in. They're going to try. Nope, not going to try and vortex anybody. I think they have a gem up. Do they have a gem up to spot this room? No, they don't.
They dropped the gem because now it's on Lone Druid.
Oh wait, no, Shaman. Shaman's got it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, they've got 2.
They got 2 now?
Okay.
They had one of their own, and they had one that dropped on the Absolute Legend side as well. And there were 2 buybacks, both Storm Spirit and Shatan on his Broodmother, but they weren't able. Well, maybe they stopped the pushing on his track. I mean, the barracks were already dead. I'm quite surprised there wasn't an Electricity on the bear, but that didn't matter. That bear just ripped through that tower just so fast, and then the barracks as well. And Absolute Legends, they actually focused on the heroes rather than anything else, rather than on the bear who was just killing off their barracks without being interrupted all that much. And then the Burrow Strike and the Blink Burrow Strike Epicenter, long DD, definitely making that fight going towards DK, even though it was already in their court to begin with, but perfect positioning, even though you could argue that Absolute Legends just was out of position for that one, rather than DK having perfect positioning. Yeah.
I think it just came down, like, it was a bad fight for AL. There's very little they can do. When DK death balls, they have just got such a better 5v5. And unfortunately, they don't really have the option. We've seen some other games where they can just split up and just split push a lot of lanes all at once. AL just don't have that mobility at the moment. Although it looks like we've got a bit of smoke gank going mid Sheever. Full DK moving in for a kill.
Moving in for a kill, or maybe if they find out that there's nobody there apart from a Night Stalker, they might go for the Night Stalker. Yeah, Blink, Burrow Strike. He's perfectly lined up for Shackle if it latches. Yes, it does. And there goes the kill. Invoker picking it up. And they could either go for the tier 4s or they could go for Roshan right now. I mean, they already got the middle lane. They don't need to go for that again. And Roshan is up, so that could be the chance here for DK to pick that up if they want it. And they want it, definitely. So, Blink Dagger up on Shadow Shaman also uses his wards for this Roshan as well. Figures he doesn't need them because the bear can push the towers anyway. In the meantime, tier 2 tower getting pressured on the top lane on the side of DK. With Musica Ball Lightning away from the EMP and from the tower. Roshan dead. Lone Druid Aegis. DK looking very strong. And even though the kill difference is not really there, but the experience difference really there. I mean, Absolute Legends, they had the early game, definitely they did, or at least the top lane and the mid lane. But let alone Druid, who was on the bottom lane, which was the only lane that DK was actually definitely ahead in, made such a big difference. You don't want a lone Druid free farming, and this is the reason why. It's just he's just so deadly right now.
I think it's definitely, you don't want them to free farm unless you've got a good answer. In this case, they don't have a good team fight answer. We keep going over this, just AL, they're about splitting them up and picking them off, and DK just refusing to let that happen, just balling up and saying, you fight us survive or we don't fight. Basically, you just let us take the racks. At the moment, though, it looks like AL are going to be pushing this top lane, just trying to work away at this tower, but DK are quite happy to continue pushing their own bottom lane and keep charging up there, and they're going to threaten a racks in a second, so AL are going to need to respond quickly. They're probably going to get this tier 2 tower and then just have to teleport back as DK, they continue to muster on that bottom lane there.
Yeah, and we're gonna have Sand King staying behind, waiting again for another Burrow Strike Blink Epicenter in the right combination, obviously. But he is positioning himself perfectly for that. He is just waiting. Let them come, he says, while the bear is just tanking off the tower and will go down. Without putting any heroes at risk, he can just stand there and kill off the tower, kill off the barracks. Same thing again. Windrunner is there, but she has Windrunner, so she is going to be safe regardless, or unless Ball Lightning in. Super, Vortex, BKB, Shatan, here comes the Epicenter, Blink, Burrow Strike, is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. It picks up Snoopy, the Lone Druid picking up the kill. Burrow Strike on Godot instead, who is trying to get away, already uses Mechanism, already uses Hand of God, is going to go down. Double kill for Burning right now at Shackle on Blink. What is he going to do? He is not going to do anything. Triple kill, Ultra kill for Lone Druid, or was that an Ultra kill? No, it was actually a creep that got the last hit on the Broodmother, and GG is called. DK victorious, game number 1 between DK and Absolute Legends, and yeah, there was nothing that Absolute Legends could have done here. That burning, just too much farm on him. Or what do you think that Absolute Legends could have done differently
I feel
in this case?
Very low. I feel mostly it was, other than try to gank his lane a little bit, it's just mostly I feel the draft, because they couldn't really gank from mid and pressure the bottom lane that easily. There were 2 supports protecting him, plus it was Storm Spirit, who needs level 6, level 7 before he's that effective anyway. And just what they have now, the remote push, basically forces AL to come off their high ground, engage off their high ground, and this gives their Sand King such a huge window of opportunity to get in there with an epicenter and completely wreck AL. That last fight, though, wasn't a pretty big deal with the epicenter. It mostly only hit Snoopy because we had Bleak just, Musica just bouncing around with his ball lightning, just staying away from everything, and there was a BKB on the Broodmother. But even then, it's just the positioning that DK could have against AL was just so superior that AL couldn't overcome it, I believe.
I'm with you there. And we're gonna jump ourselves into game number 2, because this was only game number 1. We're gonna see if Absolute Legends is gonna be able to take a point from DK, which they kind of need to stay in the top 4 of their group stage. So let's do that, and we'll be right back.